All right, we are round two of the Island Connection. Another transplant that's come out of Oahu, came up to the Great Northwest, played his ball up here, started coaching. Actually went back. Didn't you go back for a year, Mauna Loa? For a year back home, coached at home, and then came back to the state side to continue coaching. But excited to see Kyle and his presentation here. Go ahead, Kyle.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Kyle Otineru. I'm the run game coordinator, offensive line coach at Mayville State University, all the way up in warm North Dakota. Before this, as Coach Key mentioned, I was the offensive coordinator at Mauna Loa High School for a year, and before that, I was the offensive line coach and run game coordinator at Southern Oregon University. So today I'll be talking about building a package off of the inside zone play. Everywhere I've been, that's been a staple of our offense, and that's something that we hang our hat on. So just wanted to kind of go over how we package things and just the thought process behind some things. So first off, our version of inside zone. I want inside zone to be a downhill, hard-hitting play. We really want to win A gap to A gap. You know, I don't want that thing to get outside. If I want a B gap run, we're going to run outside zone and let the running back choose, is my mindset behind that. So, you know, for that reason, I refer to it more as a dive with zone principles rather than actually getting out on a track and running and moving guys and getting lateral displacement. We always want to try and manufacture a double team, and keeping things tight really helps us get a double team somewhere in there. So, you know, when we begin teaching the nuts and bolts of our inside zone, right, we always talk about aiming points. When I was trying to build how to teach this, everything, because we're going to hang our hat on it and it's going to be our staple play, all of our terminology, all of our aiming points stem off of how we teach inside zone. So basically I took the terminology from Coach Kavanaugh down at Arizona State. But if we are covered to the play side, our aiming point is toe-toe. So we're going to take our play side toe and step to the defender's outside toe and cover him up. Right. So if you're uncovered, your step is toe crotch. So you're going to take your play side toe and step to the nearest first level defender's crotch. If you are covered backside, right, this is where it gets a little bit different. Instead of zone stepping, we're going to step vertical. So we just talk about it as toe vertical. And I will get into the whys and the nuts and bolts of that as well. Other relevant techniques and terminology. On the backside, we use what we call sift as the tackles technique. A few years ago, I went down and listened to Coach Greatwood talk at Oregon, and he always talked about they have arrow, blade. They have all these different terminologies for what they do on the backside with their tackle. For us, we're always going to use what we call a sift. That way the tackle doesn't have to choose or discern what he's getting. It's going to stay the same all the time. Basically, all sift is he's going to step vertical with his inside foot. He's going to stab the defensive end with his outside hand and kind of feather him off and hold him out there as he's working to the second level. The second level defender, or how much time he spends on the D end, is going to be determined by if his gap is threatened or not. So that's kind of where the track portion of the inside zone comes in, is he has to know, does he have an immediate threat in the B gap, or is that backer outside of the box and he's going to try and squeeze in? So he's going to sift through, hold the D end out there, and then pick up the B gap defender. All right, the last concept is step, peek, and climb. It's something that we work on all the time, is, you know, with your eyes, taking that first step, peeking into the next gap over, making sure that we're not going to get slant or spike or anything, and then climbing through your track to the second level, as well as making sure that your track stays vertical and it's not going to be stretched out. Running back assignments for our inside zone, right? Alignment wise, we want him about 2 yards away from the quarterback by 1 yard deep. We mess with this all the time, just depending on who the tailback is and stride length and whatnot. But 2x1 is usually, been the staple. I'm a big believer in the track of the back must match the track of the offensive line. In this case, we want the back to go vertical because the offensive line is going to go vertical. So our aiming point for the tailback is the butt crack of the center. We want him to get downhill in a hurry. The vertical track, if you think about it, our vertical track is meant to hold our linebackers in place. When the problem we were having with our B gap zone, so to speak, is the linebackers kept scraping over the top and outrunning our offensive linemen. And our tailback, for lack of a better, was having trouble putting his foot in the ground and getting there. So what we ended up doing is getting downhill on it. That way the linebackers don't move. They stay in place because the back is coming at them right away, which actually allowed our offensive line to stay on the double teams longer and get more movement. We always tell the running back, we don't want him to make a cut till he gets to his aiming point. So we want him to make his jump cut right when he gets to the line of scrimmage and then burst through. Quarterback assignments. Okay, so by alignment, we want his toes at 6 yards. On the snap, he was going to take a half a step forward with his off foot and present the ball for the mesh point. Okay, we want his shoulders to be almost perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, so he cuts the B gap, the front side B gap, off to the tailback. So not only are we tracking the tailback's track to the ass crack of the center, but we are also making sure that the quarterback is going to deny him access to the B gap by how he presents the ball to him. Like I said, everything's got to be downhill. I don't want that thing bouncing outside unless it absolutely has to. With the quarterback, we talk about riding through the mesh, keeping your eyes on your read key, whether it be a first level or second level read. Post handoff, something we do, a lot of guys tend to boot. When you're under center, you're handing off and you're booting away to hold the backside end a little bit. Something that we did at Southern Oregon that worked out really well is we told the quarterback to cut the D end off on disconnect. So basically he's gonna run and attack the inside shoulder of the D end and present, so he has to freeze and make sure that he doesn't have the ball. So that, when we have those hard crashing D ends that are gonna scrape, that was a good way to let them stop and think about it a little bit before they were able to crash down on the tailback. So let's talk about that toe vertical step, right? In drill work, we actually do flipper. We don't gallop into it like most of the gap scheme guys do. I like to refer to this as a zone flipper, but basically what we're trying to do is toe vertical, flipper in, hips through, drive. Trying to create lift so that backside player on our double team can come and scoop up the defender. So here's some of our guys doing it, right? Toe vertical, flipper in. This guy right here is pretty decent at it. Really throwing his hips through. Isaiah Tharp does a good job of getting his hips through, creating lift so that backside guy can scoop him up. We're trying to create lift and movement. The backside guy is going to come in for the control. So from here, I can kind of explain now that we are all of our aiming points and steps down. So this is basically, zone, inside zone to the right. Okay, so by aiming point, our steps, he is covered play side, he is toe-toe, he is going to base. He is covered play side, he is toe-toe, he is going to base. This is where that flipper comes in, right? The center is covered backside, he is going to be toe vertical. He's going to flipper through, create lift. The backside guard is uncovered. He is toe crotch. So we got our double team here, right? They're going to double to the A-gap player. And on the backside, we have sift, right? So he's going to the tackle's going to step vertical with his right foot, stab the DN with his outside hand, and carry vertical through. In this picture, the will is not in the box, so he can hang heavier on this. If the will suddenly flows in, he's going to come off and approach. If the wheel is in the box, he's going to stab and go, and we let the tackle take the sift off in cases where he's already in the box. So that's versus an over front. Again, going over versus an under front, right? Toe, cover, this is zone left. Uncovered toe crotch to the nearest defender. He's going to peek to the end in case he's going to slant in, and then climb vertical through to the wheel. The center is toe. He's covered play side. Backside guard is covered backside, toe vertical, flipper, create lift. Backside tackle is he's covered backside, but he has a threat in his gap, so he's going to go toe crotch to the nearest defender and climbing through to the mic. Three-man front, odd front, right? Covered toe, uncovered toe crotch, climb vertical. The center is going to, we let the center sidestep this a little bit so we can get a flipper here and we can get toe crotch to the nose tackle with the backside guard. Then we got the sift on the backside. In the three-man front, what ends up, working out is depending on how they fit this, usually the will becomes either the edge fitter or the B-gap fitter. So we're actually working a 2-to-2, 2-to-2, and sift to the B-gap player type of deal here. So, with a back shot. Here's some clips of what we're talking about. You can see pre-snap, covered. This is zone to the right, uncovered, covered backside. Right, has a guy threatening his gap, so he's got to come down to the B-gap player. So here, tackle does a good job. Not a great step, but he's covered up. He's got him covered up. We've got a hat on a hat. Notice the track of the back, or let's look at the backside guard. We've got the flipper. They've got decent movement. The track of the back, as you can see, the ball's on the hash. Watch his track. He is straight downhill. Okay, the tight end's got a good cutoff block on the backside. And then he's out. Stay on track, make one cut, and go. That's what we're looking for. Again, zone left, covered. Okay, he's covered backside, so we should get a double team this way, right? They have double ones here, so the backside guard's got his work cut out for him, trying to cut off this one tech. The backside tackle, since the D end is wide, he doesn't need to sift. He can actually just fit himself into the zone now. You see good double team. He's fighting to dig this thing out. Down the chute, make one cut, live with it. Don't do that. Okay. We'll talk about the perimeter game a little bit later, right? But as you can see, they're so concerned with our perimeter game that we're basically running on a four-man box because their backers are going to vacate. Again, starts on that ball, starts on the hash, tailback is down the hash. Following our rules, we get good double teams in here. Two good double teams, backers worried about the bubble. We're straight down the chute. Our center in this case, he was our backup center in this year, so we decided to have the guard come back and help him a little bit and hammer this home, which ends up working out for us decent. But again, all the steps, flipper, double, right? We're all covered up. We got a hat on a hat. Tailback stays down the hash and gets loose. Odd front. If we can watch the backside tackle, this is perfect. This is what we want on the sift. He essentially makes them have two guys off the edge, right? He sat on it a little bit, held them out there, which opened up the B gap because we got washed down. Everyone's on their tracks. We'll watch one more. Okay, so another good example of the tailback being patient, down, staying on track. Everything gets closed out here. They have a guy in every gap. He says the tailback does a nice job of staying very tight down the track, and he ends up getting over pursued and coming out the back door. We'll jump ahead here. All right, so now that we've gotten the nuts and bolts of how we run inside zone, okay, how do we complement our inside zone and how do we package it together to sustain or to make it a viable play and not just, oh, they're running inside zone. So we refer to this as how do we hold the box? How do we hold guys specifically out of the box and make sure that we have a favorable box to run in? So we do this in three ways. We have pre-snap reads, right? If we tell the quarterback if the space, the angles, and the grass are there, get it out there. And we'll go over some of that when we're watching some of these cut-ups. We have first level read stuff, right? Mostly the DN. We don't read too many DTs. Unfortunately, our quarterback is not super durable, so I don't want him to fuck it up in the middle with some of those guys. And then second level reads are RPOs. So some of our rules on RPOs, quarterback must give a big call to the O-line to let the backside tackle know he needs to base the end. All right, I'm not a big fan of letting the end come free and then trying to RPO on the second level. I know some guys do that. It's a gamble that I'm not willing to take. Because of the vertical nature of our zone, we prefer outbreaking RPOs first. So we want everything moving away from the center. And then we're going to complement those with in-breaking RPOs. And then just building complementary RPO packages. So having an answer, if they're going to take away bubble, how do you answer that? Not just, oh, we can't run bubble, our run game is shot. So we'll go over some of that. How do we hold the box? So our first basic default RPO is what we call now. Okay, so basically it's bubble. We run bubble very differently, or we have run bubble very differently than others. We don't actually run a true belly back and bubble. It's the job of the inside receiver to run 7 steps straight to the sideline, then turn and look for the ball. The quarterback needs to be able to put that thing on the line of scrimmage going forward, right? The blocking receiver, we call the technique ooze, where he's going to come off slow, stalk, cut the air out between him and the defender and lock up the defender and take him anywhere he wants to go. Hey, quarterback, we're going to read the alley player, right? Conflict player, based on what, his alignment. Now, pre-snap read, if this is the guy they're trying to squeeze back into the box, if he's cutting the distance down and trying to cheat this, we'll just step out and throw it. So that's an option. Always an option for our quarterback is, if it's stealing, take it. Right? If this guy is going to cheat to squeeze the box, and we're going to get the ball out now. You can tell the running back, you can even tell the running back, hey, like give him a signal, make sure he knows I'm just going to step out and throw it so he can take a good fake handoff and just step out and throw the ball, get it out there in space. You can watch a couple cut-ups of this. 2x2 now. As you can see on the top, the slot receiver, flat down the line, straight to the boundary. Quarterback puts the ball on him. The 1st and 10, if we can get 7 yards, I'll be more than happy to do that all game. Watch this receiver. He's MDMing, right? Because the corner's playing off. The other thing, who is the conflict player? This is the conflict player. He's going to squeeze the box. They're trying to get the safety over. Right? In this case, I would say we are basically, since he's a box player, we're 1-on-2. I'm going to tell the quarterback he needs to take this. Watch the quarterback's mechanics. Right here, pre-snap, he knows he's going to go there because of the leverage of the outside backer. So he doesn't even ride the fake out. He's going to step out and throw it. Here it is in 3x1. 3x1 now. Right? This is the conflict player. We always tell the quarterback in 3x1, if you're 2 over 3 and the safety, we don't count anything if the safety is beyond 7 yards. If we get this kind of numbers and he's in the box, throw it. Again, pick up a 7, we'll take that every time. Another 3x1. Again, very important, the way he runs his route, right? Straight to the sideline, turn, look for the ball. Here's 3. So we got a live picture of the 3x1, but this is what we're talking about here. This is the conflict player, right? When they start bumping him out of the box, then we're gonna have to change a little bit. But for right now, anytime there's 2 over 3, because we don't count the safety, if he's outside of 7 yards, we're gonna throw this. Here's another version of it. So we went bunch here. So we ran our now screen out of bunch. Again, numbers are favorable, right? Corner is off at 8, right? There's no one out here. There's no flat player. Get it out there. Right, so our second RPO out of 2x2 is our slant over bubble concept. We call it slub, slant, bubble. All right, so basically what we want is we want the Z to stalk. Right, he's going to stalk to the corner, 3 steps hard, when this guy triggers, he is going to go and replace slant to replace behind the outside backer here. Right, 3x1, the same thing, the inside, right? That's the conflict player. Stalk 3 steps vertical, snap it behind. If they're starting to send this guy out here, this is what we like. This is our answer. Right, so we're throwing bubble, we're throwing bubble, we're throwing bubble. They start to move this guy out and trigger him right away to the bubble. We're going to try and snap it behind his head and throw it and hit it right in this window as he's vacating to take the bubble. Here we round it out of 2 back with the bubble out of the backfield. We threw the slant. This guy took the bubble, left the hole in the zone. Good job of the receiver knowing he didn't need to slant all the way in and he could just hook up. So another look. I don't think we ended up throwing this, but another look at it. Here the slant got a little deep. So they brought pressure, but this guy is trying to cover this bubble. The hole becomes right here. There, if he wanted it, he could have took it. Quarterback decided to go with it. Okay. Sniper is our next concept. Sniper is our man beater. So anytime we get single high, this is something that we need to practice a ton. So if we know we're going to get a ton of cover 1, okay, we're going to try and create a rub. We're going to go slot fade with a slant behind it to create a rub. The quarterback's pre-snap read is this guy. He needs to be aware of where this guy is and how he's playing. Okay, and then he's actually going to throw off of the Sam. So we're hoping to get vertical displacement by the Sam so he fills the run, and we're trying to throw in the void right behind his head. Is really how we really try to throw this. So again, with the Y, we want to replace, we want to attack and replace the fade over the Z. Want to aim for the inside shoulder of the defender over the Z. Okay, the Z is going to stalk and then snap. 3x1, we do this with the inside receiver as well, right? So the Y again, replace over the H, aim for over the H, and attack the inside shoulder, create that rub, stalk, and snap over the top. Aware of 1, reading 2, throwing in the hole. Our next concept is bow. It's basically fade arrow. Bow and now are basically interchangeable to us. If we don't have a quarterback that feels comfortable throwing the bubble and he's better throwing arrow, we'll have him do that. That's basically why we do that. We usually tag bow to not only inside zone, but we tag it to draw as well. So we'll run draw RPO with this concept, and it actually works out really well. Again, with the pre-snap read, quarterback, in this case, looking this way, if this guy is going to cut the space out, we're going to get that ball out there now if he's going to try and play in between. If he's out there, now we have 5 in the box. Now we're going to run the zone. We tell the Y he's going to arrow no deeper than 3 yards. Outside receivers got mandatory outside release. Go vertical. Again, we got bow down we got double bow, I think, here. Nope, just at the bottom. All right, so again, Where's the alley player? Alley player is pressed off. Alley player is gonna come, right? So throw the ball. We got more in the box than we can block. Throw the RPO. There's a cut. Let's look at the pre-snap look, right? Alley player is down. No one's covering the bow. Take the profit. I mean, even if he gets tackled when he catches the ball here, 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards at a time will get it done. Again, this is the guy they're trying to squeeze back to the box. A lot of grass out here. He's not going to be able to cover an outbreaking route from that depth and that leverage. There's no way. Again, pre-snap alignment tells us throw the bow by his alignment. Break it off, throw it. Okay, so here with the tight end, we have our tight end actually run bow as well. Here's a look at it. Again, conflict player comes, get the ball out, replace the blitzer with the ball. Okay, so here's a little wrinkle that we're gonna put in to bow. We call this bow roll. So now if they start to creep this guy out and they're gonna overplay the bow, okay, we run a roll route. So basically what this is mandatory inside release, press 3 steps vertical, and then roll over the nearest inside backer or outside backer, excuse me. So we're gonna push out, he's gonna roll over the top of this backer who's gonna play the arrow or the bow. So that is, again, having a counter if they're taking something away, having something to replace that so you can continue to run your offense. Just another one I wanted to share. This is one of our, just stick, but we also run this as RPO out of 3x1. Again, everything is to try and create a 5-man box so we can run the ball, right? So we want to put him in conflict, let him keep creeping out here. If he wants to stay in the box and play the run, we're going to hammer this all day. Okay, 11 and 12 personnel. Adding 11 and 12 personnel to your run game. I mean, we don't do anything out of the ordinary. We cap it on the backside, fit the tight end in the backside of the zone. Okay, we'll fill it, we'll insert him like a lot of people do. We'll kick out the backside, or we'll have him avoid and get to the second level for our zone read stuff. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's what everyone else in the country does. We are pretty good at the fill play. I got a couple cut-ups of that. Just blocking wise, cap. Our key point here is making sure that the Y knows that he is the C-gap he has the C-gap defender, and he can only turn back if there's no one coming in the C-gap. So here's just our cat play. Tight end does a decent job here of climbing with the offensive line and being in phase. I would have liked him to climb right there through young tight end. Again, I would prefer that he climb through here instead of trying to be patient and stay behind it. All right, zone fill. We ran this a ton just because our tight end wasn't good at kicking people out. Knowing these guys are base is a good job of the tight end feeling out that the 3 tech became a 1 tech. So now instead of the A gap, he has to fill the B gap. And as you notice with all these blocking schemes as well, guys, the offensive line for the most part, the aiming points and the tracks don't change, right? Everything else will change. You put a lot of lipstick on it, but a pig is still a pig. You're still keeping the core of what it is the same. We talked about peak, right? He's covered on his inside. He's going to go toe vertical, right? But he peaks and sees the end spike in, and we're able to pick this up. He comes off, walls this off. It's a good job by that guard. We end up 2-on-2. Right on the backside, we should be base. Tight end's thinking A gap right now. Yep, fills through the A gap. The other thing that's important for the center to know is there's no one to pass him. If the DT takes this gap, there's no one to pass him to because they're basing on the backside, right? You're splitting your zone in half. So it's a good job by the center knowing, oh crap, he crosses my face. I have to stay with him, keep a hat on a hat, and get loose. Zone kick, you know, everybody in America runs this. We have not run this a ton here at Mayville as of late because our tight ends aren't super good at that block. And then faking the kick and climbing to the second level and still reading the end. Something else we've packaged in with our zone concept is zone opposite. So I like this play because it gives the it gives the tailback an opportunity to get on the edge. It also changes up what the defense is looking at in terms of if they're a big back alignment team. It puts the tailback on the other side. So now that DN might not be thinking he's going to be the read guy. He's thinking zone is coming to him. So we'll go through what this is, but in terms of making things the same, we talked about not putting a lot on your offensive line's plate. You basically block this the same as inside zone. Okay, everything looks the same. We're just switching who's running the zone and who's running the pull and dive guy. We're switching up those guys, right? Very important. The offensive line does not chase guys that are running with the sweep, and I'll talk about that when we get to the live tape. Here we can cheat the running back up in his alignment, make him parallel with the quarterback. We're still reading the backside end like I was talking about. We're just changing up who's running the dive and who's running the keep. I also like this if you're not a good pulling team. This is basically the same mechanics as running power read. So if you're not good at pulling or you're not a big gap scheme team, this is a way to get that same action and get your tailback out on the edge. Here's what we're talking about, right? Still toe. Here, because of the nature of the play, we don't technically have to flipper this guy. We want this guy pinned in this way. So the center can flash it and go. On this side, we talk about don't chase guys who are chasing the play. If this guy is flying out here, I don't want the tackle to redirect and get out there. I want him to continue to climb and pick up guys coming over this way. Back action. Again, quarterback's going to catch, present. Back is 45 and then flat. The back is running the sweep. So we tell the back his aiming point is flat to the sideline, get outside of the X, and then get vertical. Quarterback is catch, present, shuffle on the mesh so he can ride it through. If the end widens at all, pull the ball and go vertical. If the end sits, give the ball, let the tailback have it. Run this out of two back. All right, here's a good example. Okay, we talked about the assignments basically stay the same. Tackle is going to pin that way. Guard is working. He's uncovered, so he's going to work vertical on the track. Center's got him pinned. Backside guard is looking for this guy to flow. If he doesn't flow, he's going to continue. It's a good job by the backside tackle. This guy takes off. He sees the sweep. He thinks the ball's going outside. He doesn't chase him. He looks for the next guy coming. We pull the ball. We get vertical with the quarterback. Quarterback's running the dive. Again, DN settles, starts to redirect, pull up the field right under him, split the defense in half. Same thing. DN hesitates to take the sweep. Also, guy off the edge, quarterback pulls, gets vertical, positive play. Here we run out of one back. Right, the tackle here, he chases, which we don't want to do. I'd prefer you go and he pick up this guy right here. I thought the quarterback should have pulled this, but you know, it's all relative. Our back is he got the DN to hold and hesitate and take a step in. Our tailback was able to get loose. Watch it from the wide one more time. Okay, some other things I wanted to talk about real quickly. We talked about our base RPO or the default RPO is a now screen. That also, you know, you can start to roll that into if you're a tempo team. it makes it real nice to know, like, if you don't call anything, the players know, you know, if nothing is tagged to it, now is what we're running. Like, they know by default that's what we're running. Things we also did at Southern Oregon to make us go faster was we defaulted. So anytime we called inside zone and we were in 2x2, all the players knew automatically the zone was going to the field, and the now screen was going to be run to the boundary. And that's something that was pretty standard for all the receivers and skill guys. All the quarterback had to do was tell the offensive line which way to go. And then conversely, if we were in 3x1, everyone knew if we called inside zone, the zone was going to the boundary and the RPO was going to go to the field. So, you know, just thinking about taking a step further and packaging wise, if you are a tempo team, you know, that's one way to package it. So, you know, you're basically dealing with one word calls, right? All you're doing is you're signaling inside zone. They already know by default the play is going to go this way. If we're in 2x2, the play is going to go this way. If we're in 3x1. So yeah, that's all I got. That's our inside zone package. I hope you guys got something from it. You guys can always email me or hit me up on Twitter if you guys have any questions, and I'll be happy to send up any cut-ups or anything that I'm can do for you.
Coach, what is your email and Twitter?
It is Kyle Otineru 60@gmail.com. It's probably easier to just do it my personal email. If you want my my work email, it's on the Mayville. If you go to mayvillestate.edu website and you click on athletics, it's on there on the staff page, my my work email. And then Twitter is Coach _Otineru.